We're still dancing in the nation's capital as the Washington Commanders take down the number 1 seed Detroit Lions by multiple scores, blowing out the team that has been blowing out teams all season long in the NFL in a complete statement victory for the Washington Commanders. And now next week in the NFC Championship game against either the Philadelphia Eagles or the Los Angeles Rams, the Burgundy and Gold, a team drafting number 2 overall in this spring's NFL draft, will have an opportunity to punch their ticket to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. What a moment for this fan base that has completely been drowned in sorrow and suffering under the Dan Snyder era. Wow, Josh Harris, Dan Quinn, and Jayden Daniels have really turned things around, and they have done it fast. Welcome into the Postgame Show. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. We're going to have extensive NFC Championship Week coverage on this football team, injury updates, all that great stuff. We're going to have our preview for whoever the Commanders end up playing on next Sunday early in the week. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button for extensive NFC Championship coverage right here on the Commanders Report. Speaking of injury updates, Sam Cosmi was the guy that exited this game with a knee injury along the offensive line. I actually thought Trent Scott came in and he played his best football this season. He's usually playing tackle. He might have found himself a home at guard today because I haven't seen the All-22 yet, but based on what I was seeing in the live broadcast, I didn't see Trent Scott making too many big mistakes. So big shout out to Trent Scott for stepping up, but Sam Cosmi is obviously your best offensive lineman. If he's not able to go next week, especially if you go up against either the Rams or the Eagles, they both have really good defensive fronts. That's going to be a problem for the Washington Commanders for sure. But, I'm not here to talk about the negative stuff. I'm here to talk about the positives because this team has done a phenomenal job here in the postseason. It all starts with Jayden Daniels, and we've talked about it time and time again. Nobody in the NFL, no quarterback in the NFL has carried their roster further than Jayden Daniels has carried this Commanders team. Because you look at it, and, this team, it's not like the roster is way better than what it was last year. And I talked about this last week on the post-game reaction. But the difference is Dan Quinn's coaching, Cliff Kingsbury's play calling on the offensive side of the ball, and Jayden Daniels at quarterback. Today, he made multiple big-time throws down the field. He showed up big-time on multiple fourth downs. Every time the Commanders went for it on fourth down and Jayden Daniels touched the football, it was a conversion. All right, 22 of 31, excellent efficiency, almost 300 yards passing, added even more than that on the ground, and he had 2 touchdowns to boot. No interceptions. The turnover margin today was 5-0 to the Commanders, and the final score definitely represents that. My second game ball for this NFC divisional round playoff win, Brian Robinson Jr., who finally got going. All right, it's been weeks since we saw B-Rob get into the end zone. It's been weeks since we've seen him get over like 10 yards on a rush. He had multiple of those today. He averaged over 5 yards a carry. We did 2 B-Rob chants on the watch party tonight with 2 touchdowns. He's back, all right, and that is a great sign for the Washington Commanders as they look forward to either the Eagles or the Rams next week. Let's go with the guy that's got 2 interceptions in this game. Did a hell of a job all throughout the evening. Mike Sainristil, the rookie out of Michigan. And, he returned to the state where he played his college football, won a national championship, and made a lot of the people that love Mikey Sainristil hate Mikey Sainristil tonight with 2 interceptions. Also had 2 pass deflections. He was lights out tonight. In a huge moment, another Commanders rookie on another home run grand slam from Adam Peters and Dan Quinn in the draft this year, man. This young man is special, and he showed it off yet again today with 2 interceptions. Absolutely big baller from him. Then we got Dan Quinn, a game ball man. Like, you got to give Dan Quinn his flowers, man. A lot of people were comparing his hire to Ron Rivera's hire when this team hired him. I remember I was here. I was on this live show, and a lot of us were saying, yeah, there's a lot of similarities between Dan Quinn and Ron Rivera. The Commanders just will never hire an offensive coach. Well, you know what they did? You know what the big difference between Dan Quinn and Ron Rivera is? Dan Quinn actually knows how to build a great winning culture. And that's exactly what Dan Quinn was able to bring to Washington. He brought in a great offensive coordinator who was a perfect fit for Jayden Daniels' skill set. And Joe Witt Jr., the defensive coordinator for this team, has done a great job despite not having a very good cornerback room. elevating this defense past maybe what their talent level would suggest. So Dan Quinn deserves a ton of credit for getting this team and this roster with a rookie quarterback, below average offensive line, I would say, below average cornerback room. There's holes on this team. I mean, it's not a perfect roster, and next week they're going to have a chance to go to a freaking Super Bowl. So, quarterback and head coach certainly deserve a lot of credit for that. Final game ball goes to the owner, Josh Harris, who has done a phenomenal job turning this thing around from the Dan Snyder era. Josh has been phenomenal at getting the right people in the building. All right, he's hired consultant help with guys like Bob Myers, who helped build the Golden State Warrior dynasty, and he hired the right GM in Adam Peters, who drafted and hired the right head coach in Dan Quinn, who ended up hiring the right offensive coordinator in Cliff Kingsbury, that ended up drafting the right quarterback in Jayden Daniels, and it's just been domino after domino. And, I think Josh Harris has finally delivered this franchise what it's desperately needed. Stable leadership at the top in the owner's chair. And, you guys see the results. And 2 years after Dan Snyder leaves, this team is competing for a Super Bowl. So I want to know, down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment, what's your one-word reaction to tonight's win versus the Detroit Lions? All I got to say, guys, my one-word reaction has got to be wow. Let me know yours down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds, and I'm going to tell you about our sponsor today at Game Time. While I'm talking about Game Time, go down there, find that pinned comment at the top of the comment section, and answer today's pinned question. With that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the best place for you to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Well, all you have to do, guys, is select the Game Time Picks button at the top of the screen to any event you click into, and Game Time automatically filters through their entire database of tickets to find you the best tickets at the best prices with the best values, all that great stuff, so that you and your family can get the best deals on any tickets that you get for any live event. What I love about using the Game Time app, and why it's the only ticketing app I have on my phone, is you get the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, all-in pricing, so you don't get slapped with the crazy fee at checkout, and flash deals so you can get even cheaper tickets the closer you wait to game time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. It's one word, all caps, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply, and create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. My first takeaway here is Daniels does it again. And, for a rookie, rookies never, ever play this well in the postseason, especially on the road. All right, I think the record of rookie quarterbacks on the road in the postseason, the last 12 games have been 0-12. All right, and that includes Bo Nix this year. That includes, C.J. Stroud last year when he was on the road. Jayden Daniels is doing something that rookie quarterbacks just don't do. And he's showing that killer instinct that we see guys like Patrick Mahomes have, see guys like Tom Brady have, making plays, on 4th and 2, 4th and 3. Gotta have it plays in the postseason with the season on the line that rookies just never make. And he's doing it with, Terry McLaurin is his only bona fide, high-end weapon to throw to. And he's doing it with a run game that's not been very good as of late. It was better today, but, recently it hasn't been as good. And an offensive line that, frankly, isn't top 10 in the league. He's doing things that other quarterbacks in the league just aren't doing, and he's doing it in his first year when he should be, the most rattled. I mean, teams and first-time playoff quarterbacks don't do the things Jayden is doing. He had multiple big-time throws today down the field in the tight windows. I mean, there was that one throw down the field to De'Ami Brown where Kirby Joseph literally covers his eyes, and it's so perfectly placed it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just a perfect throw after perfect throw from this young man. Always shows up in the big moments, and he can take this team as far as he'll take them. And as far as what I've seen so far, he could take them all the way to the Lombardi Trophy kind of area in New Orleans. Then the second takeaway I have is that the defense stepped up big time. All right, they gave up a lot of yardage today. But they stepped up big time in terms of the turnovers. 5-0 was the turnover margin today, guys. 5-0. Now I know the final interception was kind of late, and Jared had to throw it into a tight window. Blah 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 blah. The Commanders made some big time plays. They had a pick six. They had a huge fumble in their own territory. When the Lions were driving, that was huge early in the football game. That was a 14-point swing likely. I mean, this defense was just absolutely stellar tonight. And, Mike Samershield deserves a lot of credit. The pass rush in the front deserves a lot of credit. Jeremy Chin getting that final interception deserves a lot of credit. And Quan Martin taking that thing to the house deserves a lot of credit as well. I didn't give him a game ball, but maybe I should have. But this defense, man, if they can bring this kind of level of football next week against either the Eagles or the Rams, I think this team is going to be going to New Orleans. Then we get to my third takeaway here is that I'm all in now, guys. Like I've said, this team's probably not good enough to win and make it to a Super Bowl. I mean, now that they've beaten the best team in the game, arguably, in the Detroit Lions, on the road with limited rest when the other team was fully rested on the road, I mean, I can't put anything past this football team anymore. I mean, they absolutely can win the Super Bowl this year, and I'm not joking about that. And I've said consistently throughout this year, be happy with good enough this year. 12 wins, it's a great season. And still, even if the Commanders lose next week or in the Super Bowl, it's still a great season for this football team, and they're probably going to be competing for Lombardi trophies for the next decade. This team is playing with house money this year, and after winning tonight's game, I really can't put it past Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders winning 2 more games and winning the freaking whole thing, which is just unbelievable. And that's my final takeaway. Why not this football team? Right? They just took down a really, really good Lions team on the road, and show me the team that's still out there that is definitely better than the Detroit Lions. And, I don't think you can point to those teams. I mean, there's some really good teams out there. The Ravens are good. The Chiefs are good. The Bills are good. The Eagles are really good. There's a lot of still good teams that the Commanders may have to face. But as long as you got Jayden Daniels on your football team, ladies and gentlemen, and as long as the defense was creating turnovers the way that they were tonight, they can win any football game that they play. All right, and the fact that they did this on short rest this week tells me that they can do it any single week. And by the way, they're going to have extra rest next week because they played on a Saturday. So they're going to have ample rest to prepare for this NFC Championship game. And that gives them an advantage heading into next week. So you tell me down there in the comments section, who do you want to play in the NFC Championship? Tomorrow, it's going to be Eagles versus Rams to decide who plays Washington. And the winner of that game will be home, by the way. So the Commanders will be on the road next week. Let me know which team and what city you want to travel to. Before I say goodbye here for the evening, guys, just what a moment for this fan base, man. I mean, this is a fan base under Dan Snyder and under his boot, that just constant suffering, constant struggle, constantly bad teams, not able to get good quarterbacks, bad defenses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Finally, this fan base deserves exactly what this Commanders team is going to be giving them over the next decade, and I think that's going to include multiple trips to the Super Bowl with multiple Lombardi trophies raised over the head of Jayden Daniels. He's unbelievable, and hell, who knows? He might do something that no rookie quarterback has ever done and go on a complete stretch of away football games, win every single one, and then go to the Super Bowl and win it in his rookie season. I mean, that'd be one of the greatest feats that has ever been done by any player in the history of the National Football League. And after tonight's performance, I can't put it past this team to not do it. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really do appreciate all of your support. We'll have a preview for the Commanders versus whoever they play on NFC Championship weekend coming up this week. Really do appreciate all of your guys' support. Until next time, guys, just keep dancing.